Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your boy E here on the mic, talking wrestling Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern. If you just tuned in, we recently talked about our WWE Monday Night Raw review. We talked about our WWE NXT preview, our WWE NXT Battleground preview, and now we're going to get into some New Japan Professional Wrestling. So you guys got to forgive me if I mispronounce these names. Most likely I am going to, so don't hate me. So let's go ahead and dig right on into it. First match we have on the card for NJPW's Dominion. I got to get used to that because I'm not used to talking New Japan Professional Wrestling, but this is gonna be pretty badass. It's gonna be pretty cool. So we have Tetsuya Naito against Callum Newman. Newman finally gets his hands on Naito after so long. Callum pushed the limits of the former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Should be pretty interesting. My prediction would probably be, I don't know. Obviously, you kind of have Naito as a former IWGP champion. This is just too close to call. I don't want to pull in, a WWE NXT World Tag Team Battleground thing where I'm saying 50-50. But, what? I'm going to say give me the former, IWGP champion. I feel like he's going to beat Newman. So, yeah, definitely 110%. All right, kind of moving on. We have the TMDK, which consists of Koji Fujita, Robbie Eagles, and Zack Sabre Jr. against Clark Connors, Drilla Maloney, and LJ Cleary. The KOP is, I don't know, it's going to be a great match. I feel like it's going to be a great match. Obviously, something that WWE, I feel like they need to adapt in terms of professional wrestling is this trios match, this trios championship, the 6-man championship. If I had to put a lid on it, I watched highlights of all three of the guys on the right side. But I'm not trying to play favoritism. Anybody could win. Anybody can win. I'm going to pick Clark Connors, Drilla Maloney, and LJ Cleary to win this match. So it should be pretty interesting. All right, next we have the KOPW 2024 Strong Storm Catch Rules match. You have Great Okan against Yuya Yumura's first title defense against the man he won it from. I love that. I love that because you see that a lot in WWE, how they would go back and forth, especially like when you had that Sasha Banks and the Charlotte Flair kind of rivalry where they would win it from one another. They take like a month break and then they would become the number one contenders once again, and they fight each other. Then the other one will win. I think something that Sasha Banks said, or I think it was either Flair or Banks, who said iron sharpens iron. They had the Hell in the Cell match, and it was pretty cool. If I had to, honestly, I'm going to pick. I think in his first title defense, Yumura will defend successfully. But that's just me. That's just me. 110%. All right, next we have the Never Open Weight 6-man Tag Team Championships. Bolton Uleg, Turo Yano, and Hiroshi Tanasha against Los Nobles de Japan. You have Bushi, you have Hiromu Takahashi, and Yoda Tutsi. So, like I said, do not hate me for mispronouncing these words. This is, I'm trying to become a better wrestling fan here, trying to dip my feet into, the ambiguous, something that I've never even thought about watching before. But I heard a lot, a lot of good wrestlers actually take time to go down to New Japan Professional Wrestling because you see different skill set. You get some of the best wrestlers in the entire world. Obviously, you had Cody Rhodes go down there. You've had Kenny Omega. You've had the Young Bucks. You had Kazuchika Okada. And I think New Japan Wrestling, I wish there was like more of like a way to kind of watch it easily. Obviously there probably is, but I'm stuck with cable television. I I have to, record, Raw and SmackDown because it airs on at like 5 o'clock and I gotta wait till like 8, which is cool. Because for me watching wrestling growing up, it was always dark outside. So yeah, that kind of how I feel about that. So I've had to pick a winner. I think I'm gonna pick Bolin Ulig, Toru and Hiroshi Tanasha to win this match. And that's not because that was easier to pronounce than the other guys. Definitely not. All right. So next we have the NWGP World Television Championship match. You have Jeff Cobb against Tomohiro Ishii. Cobb has welcomed every challenger there is in terms of competitors in terms of New Japan Professional Wrestling. Respect that, but Ishii has scored a pinfall over Cobb, so this is obviously probably the biggest toss-up. This is going to be a great match. Two big guys. These guys look absolutely strapped. These guys absolutely look like they can kick each other's ass just looking at each other. So I have a 50-50 battle here. Gotta respect Cobb's his anima, kind of his determination, and you got to respect Ishii's willingness to kind of fight for whatever he wants. Obviously if you have the underdog, I would probably pick Ishii, but this is like a 49-51% kind of match, you know what I mean? Or it could go the other way, or Cobb could score the victory. Obviously when you're the champion, you are most likely going to be the favorite, so I think have that 51 slightest. I'm going to pick. I'm going to have to pick. Gonna have to pick Cobb on that one. So yeah, and we're going to keep moving on here. So then we're going to go on to our next match. Our next match we have the New Japan Professional Wrestling Strong and the IWGP Tag Team Championships to the Tornado Elimination Match, which is absolutely freaking badass. You're gonna have all 16, not 16. You're gonna have all 80 of these guys representing their tag teams fighting in the ring at the same time via elimination match. It should be pretty badass. I honestly, out of all the matches, I don't know why I love like weird stipulations, but that's just the wrestling fan in me. So you have the tornado match, four-way match, winner take all. Winner becomes double champion. We have the Bullet Club, which consists of Chase Owens and Cantana against Gorillas of Destiny, Hiku Leo and El Fantasma. Then you have TM DK, Shane Hayes, and Mikey Nichols. And against the Bishamon, you have Hiroki Goto and Yoshi-Hoshi. This is going to be a pretty good match. I honestly do not going to lie to you guys. I never really watch any of these guys wrestle, but just basically based on the tag team name, I'm probably gonna have to go with Gorillas of Destiny. That just sounds badass. Like if I had a tag team, like what's your tag team? I'd be like, we're the Gorillas of Destiny. Like and that just sounds badass. That just sounds so fun. That just sounds so cool. So yeah, definitely rooting for the Gorillas of Destiny there. All right, next we have the never open weight championship match between Haner and Shingo Tagachi. So these guys traded wins amongst each other's amongst competitors. These guys have the utmost absolute respect for one another. Haner was sidelined in 3 months in 2024, due to like a mishap. He was supposed to land on a table, didn't really happen. Botched move, that's what happens in terms of professional wrestling. Injuries and accidents do happen. But if I had to pick a guy, I guess coming back from an injury, I can see how hungry Haner is. Sidelined for 3 months. I'm gonna say he's gonna win. I'm gonna say he's gonna pick up this victory. He looks like he could definitely, he looks like he could fight Arnold Schwarzenegger, like and who's that guy? Who's the British guy in all the action movies? What's his name? Oh, Jason Statham. Jason Statham. Like, I don't know. He just looks like he can, be the next champion. Definitely will respect, obviously in the IWGP world, you can have all these guys from multiple demographics. So that's kind of cool. That's something you got to respect about New Japan Professional Wrestling. All right, so we have a double main event. Our first main event, we have John Moxley, the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, will fight in a lumberjack match against Evil. Will John Moxley continue his Smash Mouth title reign and complete and kick ass, or will Evil bring forth the dark era within the New Japan Professional Wrestling? Should be interesting. Should be badass. You've seen John Moxley kind of dip his foot into AEW here from time to time, so. I feel like he's on a roll, man. I feel like he's on a roll. He's beaten so many good guys lately. That he's beaten Romero, he's beaten Takeshita, and you can't really stop this guy. You can't stop John Moxley. So I'm gonna pick John Moxley. I think he's going to retain this IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. And finally we have the main event, the best of the Super Junior final. We have El Desperado against Taiji Ishimori. Both competitors have came close in the past but fell short thanks to Hiromu Takahashi in the past. Obviously, that was not the case this year for Ishimori, who defeated Takahashi in the tournament. But this is where Desperado won the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship in the past, so that that success could linger in your mind. It's kind of like having how can kind of like having home field advantage. Like, the Boston Celtics are going to go to the Garden and probably win their first two games, and then you go back to Dallas, it's a whole different atmosphere. Obviously they have those connections with not just the fans, not just the aroma, but more or less just kind of like, I don't know, like, how sometimes you go somewhere, you go to your favorite restaurant, you go to an Angels game, you go to a football game, and then you go to the bathroom, or you smell the concession stands where the stadium touches all five senses, and you're like, oh man, this feels so good. There's no doubt in my mind. I'm going to go ahead and go on a limb and pick El Desperado to win this tournament. So yeah, hope you guys like my NJPW's Dominion preview and analysis. But hey guys, so we're currently almost out of time. I always do this to you guys, but we're going to try to finish up our fifth segment right quick. Do not go anywhere. I know a lot of you guys are waiting for Amarin Soccer Podcast, so I apologize, but you're stuck with this guy. Just kidding. Moving on. So we're going to talk about Tuesdays today in wrestling history. Do not go anywhere. Grab your favorite snack and your favorite beverage and stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me.